Welcome back everybody to Hard Mod Systems. I'm George. Today's project's going to be a little bit different. I'm still waiting on parts to finish off the Cooler Master Stacker build that I've been working on. And I thought it was a good time to take care of something that arose during that build. I had to do some painting on the case. And if anybody knows, working with spray paint in the house can be a real troublesome thing. Just the little bit that I painted on that case ended up gassing out the whole house. It stank horrible, and I needed to make sure that that didn't happen again. The other problem is when you're working with spray paint, it's so easy to get the overspray everywhere, and I needed something that would help me manage that as well. So after doing a little bit of research, I started ordering parts and things off Amazon. And I went rummaging around in the garage and dug up some materials to build a spray booth. I have a small window in the room which will be easy to convert over to a vent exhaust outlet. And so really I'm hoping to keep this project fairly inexpensive, but at the same time be very effective for what I need to do. So what I'm going to do is introduce you to some of the parts that I ordered and picked up, and then show you all the materials that we're going to be working on or with for this project. So let's get into it. Well, the number one thing that we need is duct tape. And if anybody knows one thing about duct tape, the more you have, the better. So we got 2 rolls of it, but I probably got about another half a dozen rolls out in the garage, so we should have lots of duct tape. I also picked up some flexible tube ducting. Can't remember, I think it's 8 meters. Yeah, so that's more than enough for what we need to do. It comes with a couple of hose clamps, but I'm gonna need 2 more hose clamps probably. The most important part for this project is this beast. Right there. So as you can see by the documentation, it's an inline duct fan. The other nice thing about this, that it's a fairly high volume fan, and it also comes with a variable speed control. So I can use it hopefully to pull all the fumes from the spray paint as well as all the overspray out of the house. The other thing that we purchased try and get the reflection, is a 3-pack of furnace filters. Now I wasn't sure what size I was going to need. I went with 20 by 25 by 1 inch. I'm hoping I can put 2 of them inside the spray booth. And one of the ways we're going to keep this fairly inexpensive is using some cardboard boxes. Now, you're going to probably need 2, or I'm going to need 2. One is going to be the spray booth. That's what the big one is here on the outside. As you can see, in the back corner, one of my cats was trying to help me with my recycling program and shredded the back corner a little bit. But that's nothing a good old bit of duct tape ain't gonna fix. Now the plan is to insert 2 of the furnace filters into the back of this box, and I'm gonna cut a large hole in the back. Now these filters that I bought I think are just slightly too big, so I might go back and get another pack of slightly narrower If I can't get them though, what I can do is always extend it a little bit out the top, as long as it's sealed. Now the plan is, you put a hole in the back of this box, covered by the filters, and then behind it, you have a second box. Now, in any of the videos that I watched or explanations, is the second box is called the vacuum chamber. Now what happens is you put your fan pulling air out of the vacuum box so that all the air is pulled through the filters from the front box. And that should generate enough airflow that any overspray gets pulled into the filters and all the fumes go out the window. Now, as you can see, it's a small window with a rough out opening right now. The plan is by the end of this to have a more finished and better looking area than what I started with. As you can see, I've got a small fan there already that I've been using as an exhaust fan, but it was not effective whatsoever when it came to spraying the Cooler Master case that I did. So I'm gonna have to do lots of cutting and fitting to make this work. Some of the things that came with one of the boxes were these cardboard corner pieces. I'm hoping I can use those as rails for the filters to slide into and keep them in place. Like I say, this is all kind of, shooting from the hip on this project. But hopefully by the time that I'm done assembling all of this, we'll have a spray booth. So the most expensive part for this was the inline duct fan. But I didn't want to cheap out on that component. I wanted something that was rated fairly good, that had really good airflow capacity, and was going to make it a successful project, hopefully, versus doing a bunch of work, cutting, taping, and all that kind of things, and end up with just a really lame duck of a fan and not being very effective whatsoever. So that's where I didn't cheap out. The enclosure, as you can tell, is as cheap as I can go. The boxes just came with stuff that I've ordered, and the furnace filters, I bought the least expensive ones I could find. I think that was like $5.70 for a pack of 3. So that was fairly inexpensive, and the tubing was cheap. And the duct tape, well, actually duct tape's gone up quite a bit since the last time I bought it, but you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. So with that being said, it's just time to whip out the sharp knife and start making us a paint booth. Wish me luck.